It may not mean nothing to y'all. Understand nothing was
that's
done
crazy.
to me. So I don't plan on stopping
Our
at
lives are in danger,
all. I want this shit forever,
I feel scared, though.
never mind.
Yeah, for real. But we was too young to realize how dangerous it really was.
Fucking
Oh, dude, yeah, we were in school during like the snipers and shit too. Like the DC
Yeah.
snipers. That was like, I don't know if that was a big thing in New Jersey. But
No, it
like,
was.
Okay, yeah, because they're going up and down the East Coast, but like,
they were worldwide. Dude.
yeah, and they got caught in Maryland, I think. But
yeah.
like,
Because he was from, he says DC.
yeah, but they're like, oh, we can, sit you guys in these classrooms with all these windows, but you can't be outside.
I remember, so I was in 6th, so y'all were probably in like 4th grade when 9/11 happened, right?
Yeah.
Did they send y'all home that day?
My dad they didn't send us home. My dad picked me up.
Yo, they sent us home because I mean
Yeah,
we was
well, New
right
Jersey,
next to
yeah.
and from my house you could see it, like you could see the smoke and all that.
Oh
'Cause
shit! Where'd you live?
I lived in North Jersey, so I wasn't that far from New York City.
Damn.
Yeah, so like over the horizon, we got a nice view of the city, so we could definitely see all the smoke and all that.
Did you see any of those Muslim people everyone keeps talking about that were dancing in New Jersey?
Nice. What?
That's like a big like talking point for like just people being like, I don't know. It's just like a fucking trope that people say. I think.
I know. One thing I do remember, the next day, or the same day, either or, the teacher. I think it was a history class, social studies or whatever, and the teacher said, "Does anybody have parents that work at the World Trade Center?" And this one kid raised his hand. He said, "My mom and dad work at the World Trade Center."
Fuck.
That shit was crazy. I don't know to this day what happened to his parents, but I do still kind of keep up with the kid on social media because like he does like YouTube videos and things like that. He never really posted anything. Granted, it's a bunch of years later, but he never posted anything in dedication
On
to his parents.
9/11, yeah.
So I'm pretty sure his parents are fine.
Thank God.
But I did know one guy who had a friend of his father who did pass away. He said he was on the floor where the plane hit.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That guy
It was
on
a crazy
Saturday
time.
Night Live, Pete Davidson, is it?
Yeah.
Or his parents died, or his dad died in 9/11.
Yeah, I think he was a firefighter.
I remember. Yeah, I remember it happened on the news. Well, my dad was already at the school before the school's dismissed. I think that's what you said. Your dad did. Like, as soon as that shit happened, my dad like came to the school and he was there and just like he was just like, I don't care. Like, I'm taking him out. You know.
Yeah.
And
My dad picked me up, and then we went to go pick up my brother.
They sent us
like, "All right,
home.
let's get Eric first.
They sent us home from school. We had a half day, and then the next day, all the teachers were just pissed off, and like we didn't do any work for like the rest of the week.
I would have been pissed.
Damn.
I was pissed that we went back to school the next day. To be honest, I mean, I was 9 at the time. I didn't really have any concept of it. I was just like, "What? Really? You sending us back, dude? You see what
I think
just
it's almost
happened?"
like along with like the like in World War II, like the bombings in Britain and shit, where they just like that's where like the keep calm and carry on shit comes from.
Like if we let them disrupt us like that, then we're losing. I was
Yeah.
like, I mean, look,
But
I'm
also,
fine with that. I'm
yeah.
just trying to go to school. Like,
Yeah, dude.
I
I
still
don't care what kind of
think
message it sends.
I still think 9/11 needs to be like a holiday, and we shouldn't have school on 9/11.
Is it not a holiday?
I mean,
It's like a day of remembrance.
That's what I'm
or
saying. They
whatever.
never officially made it a holiday. I don't think.
Yeah.
You
Well, I
should
mean-
not have to go to school on 9/11.
Yeah.
To
I mean, you go to school on Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, but
the
that's
day
so
or
long
whatever.
ago, though, dude.
So it's funny you mention that because I teach world history, and we're actually talking about World War II, and I was mentioning Pearl Harbor, and then I was thinking about it. I was like, I think this is the only time that the U.S. took a L as far as war. But then the
World War
principal
II?
said, yeah, World War II, and I think
No, Vietnam probably.
yeah, the principal said Vietnam. We took a L too. I didn't know we lost Vietnam. I didn't know that.
See, that's
like in all the history books, it's a like peace treaty or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
it's debatable.
A mutual like defeat.
You have to
I
look.
don't
You
know.
have to look at it from terms of like as time has progressed. Look at Vietnam. When we were fighting in Vietnam, what we were really doing was kind of fighting. It was a proxy war with Russia, with communism. Kind of. We were
Okay.
kind of trying to assert a sphere of influence. The kind of same reason we were in the Korean War too. And the Korean War, if anything, I would say we did because that we were fighting. You know, there was factions of Korea, which is now South Korea, which are westernized kind of, and North Korea is still like communist pretty much.
Yeah.
Vietnam, look at it today. Vietnam is completely Americanized in a lot of ways. So the fact that they didn't fall into communism is a point in the category of us. Now we wasted a lot of resources. We lost a lot of dudes, and it was a waste of time in the long run. But 50 years later, like it's obvious that
It's a great tourist spot.
Yeah.
They love Americans.
So the one thing I'm confused about is like what made somebody a communist? Was that just somebody who didn't go with the standards of America?
It's tough because back in the day, it just became kind of like a buzzword in a way. Like anybody who kind of was viewed as
they had like the whole Red Scare thing too, where like all American media pretty much like it was like if you're a communist, like you're fucking like red scum, like you're like it just I don't know
the
like
ideology
weird
in
like
itself.
fear mongering and like
The ideology. I mean, the idea of communism was kind of like Marxism. Was what the Soviet Union subscribed to, and then they were imperialist with their Marxism, their communism, the same way that America was imperialist with our capitalism.
Okay.
And so it was really all those wars. I would argue. I mean, I know there's other complications to it and other details, but for the most part,
we were modern day religion wars. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Yeah, and we were basically at war with an ideology, competing against Russia for world domination, and eventually communism proved to be an unsustainable system, and that was how the Cold War ended. They just kind of imploded. The Soviet Union just kind of imploded, but they were all fighting in Vietnam and Korea and trying to, because that's the whole reason why all the Middle Eastern wars went on, because it's a proxy war. If the United States can assert their sphere of influence in that region, then we have better access to the resources, which is really all comes down to oil. So Russia's backing one side of Syria, Russia's backing the Assad regime, and we're backing ISIS, folks. I hope you figure that out at this point. I hope you guys know that.
Yeah, man. God damn.
We're fighting. It's just it's that's how history's always gone. My family's from Greece, and Greece. We hate Turkey, the Ottoman Empire. They enslaved Greece.
Y'all hate Thanksgiving? That's fucking.
Yeah, man, fuck Thanksgiving,
Y'all need
bro.
those little footrests for couches.
God damn.
Pilgrims, the Indians, and the Greeks. It's fucking. But we were under the Ottoman Empire after the Ottomans took over the Byzantine Empire. The Greeks, which is Eastern Rome, because Rome fell, and then Greek Rome was around until like the fucking 1400s. And then they got taken over by Turks with the Ottomans. And then what happened was Britain was trying to colonize India because India had all the spices and shit like that. And so at the time, they couldn't get to India without passing through the Middle East and Turkey, which the Ottoman Empire ran that whole shit. So what they did was the British went in and funded the Greeks to gain their independence. We armed them, they trained them, they sent them in, and the Greeks took out the Ottoman Empire so that the Brits could take over India with easier access to those trade routes. And then immediately after they helped the Greeks gain their independence, they put the Greeks under British rule. I mean, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. That's what we're doing in the Middle East.
Sure.
We fucking fund and we fund insurgents, and then put somebody that is on our side in there. So and the people are never truly independent. That's what happened to us. But then we gain our real independence in like the fucking 70s.
Son, it's not.
And now you're under the Greek thumb.
It's
the German
not,
thumb again.
It's not until I got the gig teaching history that I realized like, yo, history's the shit. I used to hate history growing up, but now since I
like
teach
fucking
it,
movies, dude.
yo, that shit is wild. Like I'll be talking. So for U.S. history, we talking about the Civil War. God damn, yo, the Civil War was some shit, man. Like people say,
Battle of Bunker Hill,
600,000, 800,000. I think, and then one person said source said 1 million motherfuckers died, yo, in the country.
Yeah.
God, yo, that's wild. Like 1 million people.
Gettysburg, I think, was the deadliest battle, but it was like a multi-day battle. The Battle of Antietam, which is right in Maryland, was the single biggest death toll in a single day, I think, in world history.
And
more people died in one day. It was crazy.
My coworker told me this, and just to double check, he said John Wilkes Booth is buried on North Ave.
Yeah, over in
Damn.
like off of Greenmount, whatever, the
Yeah.
Greenmount Cemetery. Yeah.
He's buried. And people put
Wow.
change on top of his grave and stuff like that.
Oh shit! Oh, that's bold. That's actually pretty dope. They
Put,
put what?
like,
They put
pennies?
fucking pennies and shit.
Yeah.
$5. Nobody's putting a $5 bill on the grave.
Hell
It's not
no.
worth
It's
it.
gonna blow
We'll
away.
take that shit. Someone will take it.
We want to get back at you, but we need to
A
pay
little
rent
stingy.
too. Like, I know we're
Damn,
trying to make
yo.
a statement here. I heard that it's like kind of like folklore that John Wilkes Booth's grandson or son saved Abraham Lincoln's grandson's life. Like he was like stabbed or shot or something like that, and they didn't know who each other were. But it turned out that it was either before or after. I think it was after, and they realized. That was just like something I've heard. I can't verify that. It sounds very dope though, and I hope it's true.
Damn.
Cool.
So Lincoln still has immediate family members still walking around.
He had to have kids, dude. I mean, he was fucking tall.
Who was talking about that? I didn't know he had
Very
kids.
tired,
I didn't think he had kids. He had kids, so
He
that's
had
crazy.
to have kids,
I
dude.
assume so.
He was a.
I feel like everyone's pull-out game back then was very weak.
really weak.
There was no such
Really
thing as
weak.
pulling out back
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
I don't think they had condoms, man.
Lincoln was
Condoms
long
didn't come
dicking bitches back then, dude.
Everyone was early jacking. They're like
That's what I'm
they're
saying.
fucking pre-coming everywhere.
But I also don't think back then. I might sound crazy, but I don't think back then they had a lot of STDs either, though.
Probably not.
Yeah.
They were probably much more,
Or it's
less
been like gonorrhea
less
or some
promiscuous.
shit.
I imagine.
Oh, gonorrhea, that's nothing.
Well, because that's how
Everybody syphilis was the big one, dude. Everybody was dying of syphilis.
Yo,
Yeah.
Syphilis
right?
was
Didn't
like AIDS.
didn't Capone die of syphilis?
Yeah, man, he was fucking bitches
Yeah,
or
yo.
fucking rusty nails. One of the two. What the fuck he was doing? One of the two. No, Lincoln was he was like a top national competitive wrestler during the time of his presidency, and people would challenge him to wrestling matches, like because back in the day, the college circuit wasn't really super established. So like, if you
So
thought
you
you
just
could
fight the president.
Yeah. If you thought you could beat somebody, you sent him a letter in the mail, be like, yo, I challenge you for the title or whatever. I think people were sending him letters. He may or may not have even wrestled for the wrestling championship while he was president, which if that is the case, he is the dopest president. I'm going to put
Yeah, that
that
shit
right
is
there.
dope.
Can you imagine
Yeah.
fucking the president just
Like-
coming out in a fucking robe? just
Like all Obama did was challenge people in basketball games. He didn't want to fight nobody though. He wanted no sauce, no sauce.
No, fucking wrestling. Dude. I'm saying a bunch of shit I think is true. I hope nobody's fact checking this podcast. Be like, dude, Abraham Lincoln, dude, he wasn't
He
even
wrestled in
president.
the White House lawn.
Why they called you?
Damn, yo.
I don't know, man. I mean, if at worst case scenario, it's still entertaining to think about. Andrew
Yeah.
Jackson was another guy. He was a big time wrestler, dude. They were
He
all
was.
into it.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Andrew Jackson gets a lot of bad raps, but he was a dope dude.
He was dope. I mean, the shit he did was not necessarily dope.
No, but
He was a badass.
There were like 2 assassination attempts on him, and he beat the shit out of both of the dudes.
Oh yeah.
Like it was insane.
Beat the shit out of him, dude, with a fucking wooden cane, dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
Dude, that guy, what do they call him? The old Viper or something like that. His campaign slogan was Andrew Jackson and no banks, and that was at the time. I mean, you'll find this. So I heard that the reason the War of 1812 happened was because, basically, we were under kind of like a privatized bank system at the time. We had just found a way to. When was Andrew Jackson president? He was the
He was
seventh
the
president.
second president. Yeah.
Seventh?
Second.
No, that was
I think.
John Adams.
Oh well, I don't know.
John Adams. I think Andrew Jackson was. So basically, I think the War of 1812 happened when the British came and they tried to like reconquer us, right?
Okay.
And the worst case scenario of it was that to fight that war, we still needed to go in debt with international banks to fund it. So even if they didn't win the war, they still put us in a situation where we were in a lot of debt to the crown or a lot of debt to like international banks. And so Andrew Jackson came in and he was like, yo, I'm going to get us off this fucking privatized bank system, make like a national bank, like a public bank. And he fucking did it. He was like this. That was like the second time that the national debt was ever set back to zero. And I think after that was with Abraham Lincoln. Dope president, dude. He fucking won a wrestling match, came out. He was like, we don't owe anybody shit anymore.
Yeah, he just got all the prize money and paid off the
you
national
want to hear
debt.
something crazy? So during the Civil War, the country spent $3.3 billion on that war.
Jesus
Fucking
Christ.
George
Back
Bush
then, dude.
spent $149 trillion on the war with Iraq.
Damn.
That shit is wild, yo.
Damn.
I don't know how inflation comes into play.
Yeah, I don't know. I
so-
think like
Yeah.
$1 back then was like, no. But Abraham Lincoln, he went so far as to try to create a new currency, and he called them the greenbacks.
Yeah.
And that was where the greenbacks came from. And I was like, all right. I'm glad we stuck with dollars, to be honest. I mean, greenbacks is a cool slogan. It's like saying like $9. But if our like official name of our currency was the American buck, I don't know how I'd feel about that.
The American back.
American back, dude. I don't know. It's cool, but whatever.
Yeah, that'd be confusing. That'd be a little too confusing. Live from the studio.
Live from the studio. I'm Jimmy
Live.
Selesky.
Eric Glazer. We didn't do an intro last week, so I figured
Didn't
we'd just
have
throw
to.
one in.
Exactly. Might as
We
well.
got Garrett Harvest on the podcast this week.
Yurt, what's going on?
Do you prefer the P in the middle, Garrett P. Harvest?
Or
Nah,
Hardy.
I
Do you put like the Hardy in there? Garrett Hardy Harvest?
Nah, just Garrett Harvest is cool.
I
man.
would
People put the P, people say the Hardy. I don't mind it, but if you was to ask me, I'd say Garrett Harvest.
All right. Dope.
That's what I usually do, but wanted to rattle the cage a little bit.
Rattle
Wanna
the
see
cage,
what,
baby.
see if any stories fell out.
I put the Hardy thinking like just so it could be funny to say
Yeah,
like Hardy Har,
yeah.
but now I can't change it.
Totally
so it's
worth
just
it. Totally worth
Nah,
it.
I'm stick with it though. Hardy Harvest is dope.
Now I feel like I know you guys obviously know each other well. I think this is the first time we've ever actually like spoken in first person.
Yeah.
Maybe. I've seen you. You've done a couple things at the Pac Ivan show that he puts together.
Yeah.
I think I've seen you there a couple times.
Yeah, you definitely did look familiar. Do look familiar.
Thank you. I did look familiar. Now I don't. No longer.
Yeah,
But
that's actually the first show I ever like the first show I got booked on.
Okay, hell
And
yeah.
the first one I did was when Jordan Rock came through.
Oh, I
Oh, okay.
remember that.
So I got the old video for when I'm just talking. It's me. I'm 4 months in, and I'm talking. It's T. Brad. It's me. It's Ivan, and it's Jordan Rock in the room just chopping it up.
Hell yeah.
So that shit was cool, man. That was
Yeah.
only 4 months.
So
It
you
was
only
nice.
been doing comedy for a bit then?
2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that why? I mean, did you come down to Baltimore to because you said you grew up in Jersey? Did you come
Yeah.
down here for the teaching job?
Oh, well, I came down here to do college. I went to Morgan State. Then after I
dope.
graduated, I had a couple jobs after that. So I mean, basically, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I know a lot of
Did
people.
you stay in Baltimore for the comedy? Is that why?
I know even if I didn't do comedy, I would stay in Baltimore because I would always tell people, like, especially my friends at college, I'm like, yo, I don't know why y'all going back to Jersey. Y'all need to stay out here. Like, it's a lot of opportunities in Baltimore, and
probably
people
cheaper.
overlook this city a lot, and it's cheap as hell. Baltimore, I read it one time. Baltimore, one of the cheapest cities in America.
Yeah.
Poorest, cheapest.
if you're
Synonymous.
broke, bring it through, baby. We got it.
Yeah, man.
Where do you? I mean, what grade do you teach? You said
High school.
Oh, you teach high school?
Yeah.
Okay. Where at? Which one?
It's at a juvenile detention center.
Can you say that slower?
A juvenile
Juvenile
detention center.
detention.
Oh,
center.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, he's with the bad boys.
How's that? I mean, is it
It's
rough?
I mean,
or is it?
no, it's not. Like, before I started working there, I thought it would be rough. Yo, but when you're in there, it's like, man, these kids want to go home. They're not
Yeah.
trying to have no type of BS go on. They're not trying to act a fool. They're not trying to kill somebody while they're in there.
Yeah.
They're trying to go home. They kids. They want to go home. They want to play on. A lot of kids want to still play sports for their high schools. They're just trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
Are they allowed? So how does that work? So are they allowed to be on the regular school sports teams, or does that detention center have its own sports teams?
Yeah, the detention center has their own sports teams, and we play other detention centers.
Oh, so you're not in the city public school league then?
Nah, not at all. They could. I don't even think you could legally do that for real.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. That would be kind of like what was that movie?
It's like the
Gridiron
XFL
Gang.
versus
Yeah.
NFL.
Yeah, I'd be like
Oh, they Gridiron Gang played like real teams.
in the movie they did.
Oh shit.
Didn't they play? They played like the state champ. What was that movie based in Texas or something like that? They played like the state champs of Texas. I mean, I saw the fucking movie with like The Rock and
Yeah.
like I don't.
I've
fucking
only
know
seen
what really
the
happened.
Adam Sandler one. What's
You're thinking
that?
of the longest,
Longest
yard.
Yard.
Yard, yeah.
which is kind of the same deal, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
prison playing football, yeah.
That's what you got to get going, dude. You got to start having them play against regular teams, dude. Get them playing Dunbar and shit.
Yo, I honestly don't think they would want to do that with them because
Yo, Dunbar state champs, dude. Shouts out Dunbar.
Yeah.
they got state champs
State
again.
champs. They were playing this team from Western. That's really all the state championships ever come down to. It's the fucking one city school and one fucking in the sticks Western Maryland team where they just
Yeah.
grew up on farms and shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like it was a really good game. This team from Western Maryland, I forgot the name, Fort something. They had won like 3 or 4 years in a row. And they were actually winning this game, and then Dunbar came back, and I think they won by 2 points at the end, which is dope.
Dunbar is
dope.
nice. Dunbar, I feel like Dunbar High School probably birthed the most athletes out of Baltimore.
Oh yeah.
I think.
I'd say that, and they're right in the heart of it too. They're right on Orleans, and like they're kind of like they're
Yeah.
like right in the middle of everything.
I used to teach at a school next to Dunbar and around the corner from Dunbar. So it's like Yeah, man, that's a good ass school. Not the school I was at, but Dunbar was good.
I could see it from my window. It looked very nice.
How good they were.
Were you teaching at another high school, or this was the?
Nah, that was a middle school, a public middle school that was next to Dunbar.
So how do you get into a gig? Like, did you get to pick that, or were you like, look, I got a teaching degree, and they were like, all right, here's what we got. We got you this thing. Or do you even need a degree to teach at detention center? Or?
Nah, you do need a degree to teach.
Okay.
It is like when I first got the job there, I wasn't a teacher, but I had like credits and I had a degree. I have a degree in phys ed, so I had the qualifications to get the certification. So when I was there, I just did what I had to do to get the certification so I could start teaching.
Okay.
So it was dope, and I like teaching, especially history, man. And they gave me a choice because like at that job, a lot of people don't want to work there because they can't deal with the stress of dealing with the kids.
Yeah.
So I had every subject available. Like I could do science, I could do English, I could do history, I could do math. I definitely chose history because I knew history was definitely a very good subject to teach.
History.
Yeah, you don't have to like grade papers. You don't have to like relearn the math to teach people.
Yeah, exactly. How do you do long division?
And
again?
history is like
table.
history is like 100% like your opinion. Like you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, all of history is based kind of like an opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like it's they take the artifacts and make their story up based on what they found.
The cool thing about history is, and I didn't appreciate it as much as I was when I was a kid, but once you kind of live a little bit and you see the world in your present time, and you learn about history, and it starts to put things in perspective, and you start to understand what was really going on back then. Because when you talked about history, when you learn about it in school, it's like you're just talking about like some like far off thing. It's just like, okay, we're just learning a bunch of facts about random shit. But then you sit and think about it, you're like, all right, so like these dudes were around like 1800s. This is like 3 grandmas ago this shit was happening. Like they were dealing with the same problems essentially.
Yeah.
They were the same type of people, and like you start to understand, the old saying, history repeats itself.
Yeah.
Like you start, like we were talking earlier about the Greeks being funded, and you can witness that through the Cold War, and you can witness it in the Middle Eastern War. And it's like if you have a good grasp of history, you have a much better grasp of what's going on right now.
Yeah, hell
I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
I learned a lot. I'm still learning shit. It's I'm not lying when I say this shit is very interesting. And
The only other thing I did like was I liked physics. I liked physics because it was actually. I didn't like chemistry because I was like, when the fuck, like, am I gonna like?
Yeah,
who
when
gives
am I
a
gonna
shit?
mix chemicals in my life?
Yeah, exactly. Like if I'm mixing chemicals, I've gone down the wrong path. Like, you're making me better at being a fuck up, if anything. But physics was dope. I liked physics because I liked the idea that you could. I just liked how they found a way to like. You know what I really liked was calculus. I like math a lot, trigonometry. I like things that make sense. I like things that make sense. I don't like, the thing you were saying about history where it is very up for debate and very much, person to person, how they want to interpret it. There's no real way to argue about how to interpret math. Like 2 + 2 = 4, and if it doesn't, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's just it. That's just it. I like that shit.
Yeah.
That stuff to me makes sense. And I think one of the reasons I didn't really care for history too much in high school was because it was so subject to how my teachers wanted to teach it.
Yeah.
And what they were trying to impress upon
Or like
us.
what like the district wanted you to learn from
Exactly.
whatever. Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it because it brings up a lot of conversation, like especially with these kids. Like it's just nice to just like have them get their mind off of whatever the fuck they're going through at the moment and just have them discuss just like how the world or how the country came to what it is right now, which is it just brings up history. Could bring up. We spent like the first 10 minutes talking about history.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I love history.
That's what kids want, I would say. I mean, like, they go to school. Like, I remember being in fucking school. Like, I didn't give a shit about most of the shit they were teaching us. It was just like, why am I learning this? Like, I get it. Like, I have to learn it. But, like, English class, I'm sorry. English classes, after a while, I didn't even really understand what the fucking point of it was.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like they taught you the same shit every year,
Uh-huh.
over and over again to be like, you got this still?
Yeah, with
Don't get me
different
wrong.
words.
Like, knowing punctuation and shit, like, really helps, like, in like Facebook debates and stuff. Like, it makes you,
I
like...
don't know. Yeah, there's like autocorrect now and shit, so who
That's
cares?
true. That's true. Like, knowing when to use a semicolon and, like, how to, like, do compound sentences. Like, it's all valuable, but,
Not
like...
fucking writing a book, though, dude.
I didn't like it because English was the ultimate in just interpretation. Like you'd fucking get a book and you'd write a report on it, and depending on who your English teacher was and what they believed in was the grade you got. And it was like, dude, like, I don't know, it just at the end of the day, like, this is kind of fucking pointless anyway. Like, I could read Huckleberry Finn on my own. Like, I don't need you to fucking make me write a paper about it.
Right.
Yeah. I think a lot of like that sort of shit in school has like fucked me up for life, because I'm like, whenever like, I don't know, like, dude, just being forced to like read a book or something, I never want to read now. And I feel like such an idiot because I just don't read. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you one thing about these kids, though. Kids these days, I know it sounds mad cliche, but kids these days are way smarter as far as like historic events and shit. So like I'll bring up Thanksgiving, and before I even say anything, they'll be like, yo, you know, Thanksgiving was not really what you thought it was. Thanksgiving was a genocide. Like, we shouldn't be celebrating it. Da, 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 da. Like, kids are a lot more aware of that shit, and I think that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's still, I think, you know, in the same way, history is, you know, depending on who is teaching you the history is what determines your view of history. And so I think because
dude, like I made fucking hand turkeys on Thanksgiving
Yeah.
in school. They'd be like, yeah, Christopher Columbus.
awesome guy, right?
Yeah.
We're off on Monday, right? Cool.
Yeah.
All right, dope.
Hey,
all that
Preakness
matters.
is right around the corner. It's a big Maryland thing.
Like, you know, like I almost feel like, I mean, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, because the reason why these kids are so much smarter, or quote unquote smarter, I would say they just have more access to the information.
That's true.
They're more educated. They're more educated, and when I say the word educated, I am including educated and miseducated. And so, in the same way that your perception of history is dependent upon the person who taught you, depending on what you're looking into on the internet and the type of things that you're in, that can affect your perception. I almost feel like, I don't know if you kind of have to unteach shit. I don't know what I'm really getting at, to be honest. But I think I almost think it's like toxic in a way. But that's just me. It's like almost too much information, and it's hard to sort through like what is real and what is like what is just fucking making you fucking hate the world. You know, like what it like when we were in school drawing hand turkeys, like, I liked Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was cool.
Right.
And I liked Native Americans. And I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
and now
I
it's
thought it was like a coming together and everyone being
right.
Yeah, and now it's
and
like,
then you
now I
also
can't
learn
even think
about,
that.
like,
I can't even think. I had to fucking hate
Exactly.
Thanksgiving now. I had to well, actually, you know, Squanto was actually a bitch. Like, you know, like.
Now don't get me wrong. On Thanksgiving, I will still be in Jersey eating a turkey, but however, I know the truth.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's like you know. I mean, okay. I remember one of the things that really pissed me off about the way we were educated when we were younger is when I was in elementary school. All the teachers just say, Christopher Columbus discovered America. Blah 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 blah. Cool. And then, you know, we would take tests and they'd be like, you know, you're in second grade. Who discovered America? Christopher Columbus. And then I got to fifth grade, and then I remember being in class, and the teacher points at that like little pull down map we used to have with the fucking teacher stick. Who discovered America? And I was like, Christopher Columbus. And all the kids in the class laughed. Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. The Vikings were there first. Blah, blah, blah,
The
blah.
Viking.
America Vespucci or whatever. I don't even fucking know the guys' names. If there were a fifth grader in here right now, I'd be laughing at how little I know about this shit. I'd be like, you're still a fucking asshole, dude.
Damn, bro.
But like, it was like, and my teacher even was like, now, I mean, okay, we say it was Christopher Columbus, but actually it wasn't. I'm like, then why the fuck did you ever tell me it was?
Right.
Why, when I was 7, did I have to take a test where I would have gotten it wrong if I didn't say Christopher Columbus? And then when I'm fucking 10, 11 in middle school, now you're going to take all the shit that you taught me for the past 6 years and tell me it actually wasn't that, it's this, because now you're old. That shit used to piss me off. I'm like, why, dude? Just tell me. When I'm not old enough, I'm not fucking old enough to know Christopher Columbus. I don't give a shit. I don't even know who Christopher Columbus is. I never met him.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to even make that the story of Thanksgiving, and why not just tell us the truth of it?
I mean, I'm sure they're both
don't know,
kind of
dude.
true. I'm sure that yes, the Pilgrims came in, and it was a very there was a lot of friction because you have these people coming into your new land, and they're saying, yo, this shit's dope. I think we'll just go ahead and take this. You know, not like it never happened before in history. Right. So there's that. But then, so that was the setting within which Thanksgiving happened. So within all that turmoil, there was a day, my understanding of the history of Thanksgiving, within all that turmoil of, yes, genocide and war and conquering, was a day where they came together and enjoyed the harvest as human beings. And I think that is something to be celebrated. You know, like you could take history and just say, oh, well, because it happened within this setting, everything that happened within this setting is now terrible. I remember my grandfather, he was in the Greek army. The Italians were fighting in World War II for the other side. And on Christmas, they ate with the Italians. They were all in encampments. And yeah, they were fighting technically.
That happened in, World War I?
My grandfather was in World War II. Okay. But they, you know, those are things like, yes, within the setting of World War II, where you have these dictators and doing all this genocidal, crazy shit, but there were small moments of positivity that should be received and interpreted that way.
That was like a thing in World War I, too, where, like, the British and the, on, like, Christmas, the German and the British, they all, like, met up. They had Christmas dinner. Everyone, both sides, like, nothing happened. No sneak attacks, nothing.
Exactly. And the fact that now we exist in this kind of thing where it's like, well, yeah, I guess, well, actually, but because you have to understand that the surrounding circumstances outside of that nice coming together feast was all this other bullshit. Now we have to fucking hate Thanksgiving. It's like, no, that's almost, we should love Thanksgiving more. We should love Thanksgiving more because in the midst of all that bullshit, we were still human beings. Thanksgiving is my favorite fucking holiday, dude. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. My kids go on hand turkeys. Fuck it. I love Thanksgiving.
Kids
I like
fucking
Thanksgiving.
dressing up like Christopher Columbus.
Christopher Columbus, fucking feathers. I don't care, dude. It's fun. I like that shit. It's fun. It's fun to enjoy life. And why do we got to tell kids that you got to fucking hate everything?
Yeah, that's true.
That being said, Halloween's still the best holiday. I love Halloween.
Halloween's dope. I like Christmas, not because of like the history of Christmas and shit. I just like chilling with family.
It's such a great time of year, man.
Yeah, man.
It really is the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah.
Not the most fun time. I do like summer. Summer's great. Summer's awesome just because it's fucking nice out.
Right.
Yeah, that's fun in the sun.
Fun in the sun. But Christmas is like, geez, you really do just care about people more.
Yeah.
Like your family, everybody, like it's just the one time of year where
It's
you're
like a time of reflection. Like you kind of get jump started by Thanksgiving because you're like, you're put on the spot at the table to be like, what are you thankful for? Fuck, shit.
Give me a month. Give me a month.
Yeah, give me a month. I'll think about it. I'll maybe start calling you guys again.
I mean, Halloween, I just like it because Halloween is the only holiday I can think of where everybody celebrates it, except for like crazy religious people.
Every holiday, you're going to have that one guy that was like, nah, we don't do Halloween because back in the day, the people did this and that. But
and also, it's a holiday you celebrate with your friends.
Yeah.
It's not it's a holiday that it's like, oh, man, I got to go to my aunt's house for Halloween, bro. No, you don't. Like, no, you don't.
Exactly.
You
go to the bar, you dress up as Black Panther, and you get drunk. That's all you do on Halloween.
That's a fun holiday. That's a good holiday.
That's fun as hell.
You dress up like a fucking asshole.
There's gonna be a million Black Panthers this Halloween.
Oh,
it's gonna be so funny, dude.
And they're making money because it's funny because one of my friends' sons yesterday was looking up a Black Panther costume. They selling them now for like $170. That shit is crazy, yo.
It's like Batman, $9.
Yeah, yo, what the
I'm just imagining, like, you know, when you go to Halloween costume stores and just some little kid like doing this on the cover, and it's like, ooh, Batman. And you go to fucking Black Panther, it's like $170.
Yo,
the
man,
fuck?
that shit is crazy.
A plastic ass fucking.
Somebody said, I think I heard it on Geico, that show Geico. Somebody said Halloween is the best because it's the one day of the year where you get to be somebody else. Anybody you want to be, you could just be that person. I haven't dressed up for Halloween in years. Actually, not. Like 3 years ago, I was Jimi Hendrix.
There you go. That's a good costume.
That was dope.
And you enjoy it on multiple different levels as you progress through age. So, like, all right, I'll tell you a holiday I really learned to appreciate as I got older is all the cookout ones, 4th of July,
Yeah,
Okay.
Memorial
Day,
Yeah.
Labor
dude,
Day.
Labor Day. Those are great holidays.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
As you get older and you're like, you know what I really want to fucking do is I don't have to work today. Just fucking have a cookout, get the grill
Yeah.
going. I love that shit. Halloween, I mean, and that goes for all holidays.
Yeah, those are like day drinking holidays.
Exactly. Christmas is like when you're a kid, it's about getting the presents.
Right.
When you're an adult, it's about giving the presents. Or
Right.
so when you're a parent, it's about seeing how happy your kids are when they get the fucking presents. Halloween, it's about getting the candy. Then when you get to like 14, 15 years
Getting
old,
that
then
candy.
it's about getting some ass. Like Halloween's great. Like it's about fucking having fun, going out to the bars. All the
Yeah.
girls are dressed up like
Yeah,
ridiculously.
people
I'm just like,
watching.
hell yeah. And then I guess when you get like older, you have kids, then it's about like giving candy. Like I regret that no kids trick or treated in my apartment complex because I would have loved. I fucking used to love sitting there.
Dude,
What are you
knows
dressed up
the
as?
fucking best.
Fucking shit.
Fucking Halloween this last year, living in Hamden.
Oh, I bet.
Fucking tons of trick or treat.
Every day is Halloween
I had
in
this
here.
fucking. Dude, I had this 32-ounce Yeti filled with gin and tonic, and I was just sitting outside. I was sitting outside with my roommate, just fucking drunk, just being like, "Oh, that costume's great. Oh, you can take a whole handful. You don't have to take one."
Nice.
Oh man, I miss that, dude. I
was
carved a
fun as
pumpkin
fuck.
and I put it out on my fucking parking lot. Nobody went up there. I just
Right.
carved a pumpkin, put it out on the lot, lit a candle. You just drive to the top of the hill, you can see it's like stupid. I don't get wacky with the jack-o'-lanterns. I do the classic triangle eyes, triangle nose, spiky mouth.
So let me ask y'all this.
Classic.
Think about when you were younger, you trick or treating. What's the stupidest thing you ever got trick or treating?
Ooh, like, ooh.
I got a dude had like it was a fucking like mini like toothbrushing set. It was
I
in
got
a
one of
plastic,
those too,
It was
yeah.
in a plastic bag and had a mini toothbrush, mini toothpaste, and like something else. And
I get
was
it
like,
though. He's being a troll. He was like, "Man, you guys getting all
Yeah,
this
he's like a
candy.
dentist
Somebody gotta
or
give you a
something.
He was
toothbrush."
probably like 4 gin and tonics deep. He was like, "I got this motherfucker."
Dude, I accidentally gave out all my candy earlier. That's all I had. Dude, that was the thing though. I didn't realize how much candy I was giving out. I fucking tapped out way too soon.
Yeah, man. You don't know.
Kids
I remember trick or treating, and we went to this lady's house. She came outside. She was all surprised, like she didn't know it was Halloween. So then she gives me and my cousins pennies,
Pennies.
like 5 pennies each. And
There
just
you go.
drops them in our bucket.
Fuck yeah.
But the way she was acting, like, were we the only kids to come to our house? I don't wanna, She was giving everybody, that's a lot of money. Like, when it all adds up, you got over 100 kids coming to your house, you giving them 5 pennies each? Come on now.
It's $5 right there.
Damn, that's a lot of money.
Could have used that for something else. Could have bought some
Back-
candy with that
back-
$5, goddammit.
Oh shit. I think
wild.
I got it like wasn't a bad Halloween thing, but I got Play-Doh one time, like a tiny little tin of Play-Doh, which was just like already hard.
What a
and I
terrible
couldn't
toy,
play with
though.
it.
Play-Doh was
Wow.
the fucking worst, dude.
I ended up using it to hide weed, the Play-Doh, because it's like airtight, dude. It was
Yeah.
nice, but then the weed just always smelled like Play-Doh. It kind of sucked.
As you should have called it.
The
Then
only
you could have
Yeah,
made some money.
Play-Doh.
The only thing I don't like about Halloween as you get older is that it's very subjective as to which day it's really celebrated. Because
Yeah.
like this year, Halloween fell on like a Tuesday, like
Right.
actual Halloween. So like people were going out on like the Friday, the 27th or something like that.
Right.
Friday, Saturday, 27, 28, everybody's going ham. Maybe some people go out Sunday. By the time Monday hits, people are like, all right, we're not going out tonight, right? And then Tuesday, it's just like, all right, like I think we're just kicking it. Like,
You know
it's
what
like,
I hated about Halloween this year? Did you guys hear that, like, so, every year they add more unacceptable costumes and shit.
Yeah.
They didn't want anybody dressing as ninjas. You couldn't be a
Really?
ninja or a samurai.
you
Like, you couldn't do that
serious?
no more.
Who's they?
I heard it on
Some
the
fucking-
radio.
I
So,
guarantee
like,
you, some white girl like from art school with fucking glasses and something is the one making these fucking lists, dude.
a ninja, yo? Like, what the?
That's fucking dumb, dude. I think for like at least 4 Halloweens as a kid, I just alternated being Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
I was Dracula a lot. I remember my father used to be real creative, and like one year he dressed me up as a nutty professor.
Ooh.
Like he put the pillow under me, had the
Can't be
beard
that
and all
anymore,
that.
dude.
And then another year he dressed me up as Mario.
Hell yeah.
I just think he was being cheap because you could have bought a Mario
Same
costume.
shit,
I
yeah.
think.
It's like, oh, you're Dr. Mario. It's just the Dr. Doolittle costume.
But that's that same fun sucking shit I was talking about, dude. It's that same shit. It's like Halloween's fun, dude. Why you
Yeah.
gotta suck the fun out of it? Telling me I can't be this, telling me I can't be that. Like you're ruining it. You're ruining it for
Yeah,
everybody.
I didn't understand the ninja thing, man. Like, 'cause I don't even
Also,
think
it's like-
that's not insulting.
That
yo.
shit's mainly for kids too. Like, are you like if a kid really wants to be a fucking ninja, are you gonna tell him, "Oh no, sorry, son, you can't be a ninja because well, our neighbors, those Chinese guys, are gonna hate us." And it's like ninjas aren't even Chinese dudes. I'm upset.
You know how many fucking dudes dressed up as one of the 300 Spartans after that movie came out?
Yeah,
All the
exactly.
dudes who were like athletic in high school were like, this is a great excuse for me to wear nothing on Halloween.
Yeah.
I'll dress up as King Leonidas. I was like, all right, fair enough, dude. I didn't give a shit. Like, why? I don't even understand. Who does give a shit is my question, besides
Right.
these people making the rules. They decide that other people give a shit almost. It's like we decided for you that the Asian people are gonna care if you dress up like a fucking ninja. If I were Asian, I'd be stoked.
Oh, dude,
Exactly,
they
you
are.
representing
Dude,
my
they literally
culture. Like,
are.
that's
they
what's
are
up.
stoked.
They're stoked.
I've seen like interviews of like people on the street and like I think it might have even been for something like what you're talking about, the samurai or the ninja thing, but like they're just asking random Japanese people and they're like, "Oh, that's awesome! Like
Right.
we love that they like our culture.
Yeah, you're
We love that
you're
they
you're
love-
literally
yeah.
trying to be like us. We don't mind. You could try and be like us.
Yeah.
We're trying
that's
to be
what's
like you.
That's what's,
Like,
I
you don't think every other country's trying to be like America, dude?
yeah.
I think that's kind
You're
of the
gonna tell them
point,
that's
is
racist?
That those
No.
things bring us together. Like those things bring us together, and the people that think that there are people that legitimately think that when you post these things, like here are the 30 Halloween costumes that you're just not allowed to be this year, or something like that. They think that they're the ones that are like helping. They think that there's the ones that are, but they're really the ones like bringing us apart. Because
Right.
now I'm sitting there and I can't even like all the camaraderie that circles around these things. I can't even enjoy that because now I'm worried about like I just think about it like a personal level. Like if I was sitting in a room with another dude and my primary focus when I was talking to you was all the shit I can't say.
Yeah.
Like I can't really actually be close to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's kind of what we're doing on like a macro level. It's like we're honing in so much on all the shit we can't do and all the shit that's bad that it's like, well, now we can't even just enjoy each other. Like it's just like we're fucking I don't know. They're not helping. And I mean, if it were up to me, dude, I would totally dress up as a dope ass Native American costume. Would be sick, but I couldn't even legally do that. Is it illegal now? Can
I
you
think
do
it's
that?
I think
illegal.
it-
You're
yeah,
just
I think
gonna
it
get
is.
frowned upon.
It's gonna get
Yeah.
like
it's illegal.
I will.
It's
Not,
not
I don't
illegal.
say you get arrested for it, but
It's
I feel
not
like
illegal.
it's nationally frowned upon. Like,
nationally frowned upon. Which to me,
So then how come every fucking white girl at Coachella has like a headdress on?
because they're fucking hot and you're trying to bang them in a porta potty or something, so you put up with it. You know what?
For real.
I wouldn't give a shit either way. I've never been to Coachella. I just assumed that that's what would be going through my mind if I saw a girl in a headdress. I'd be like, if she doesn't bang me in this porta potty, I'm gonna call her out. I'm gonna get you, bitch. You cultural appropriating bitch. Now I'm putting out ass cultural appropriating bitch.
So what you
Ass
think? So you
cultural
said. So y'all said you feel like there's gonna be a lot of Black Panthers walking around this year.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
dude, there's gonna be mad Black Panthers. There's gonna be like obviously 4 white dudes dressed as Black Panther too. It's gonna be fucking weird.
Yeah.
But like,
well, there's no
are
way.
you gonna? Is there gonna be a campaign this year saying white people you can't be Black
There's
Panther?
absolutely
no.
gonna be a campaign saying
I don't think so.
I would.
think
I would
so?
love to see white people in Black Panther costumes.
Why-
I wouldn't mind.
Why exactly? Why not, Eric? I'm gonna have to say I will be.
Am I calling that out already? Do you think that's actually gonna happen?
I will be floored if that doesn't become a thing.
Really?
Dude, Halloween is in 7 months. There is no fucking way that we're not gonna see shit shared on Facebook saying like dear white people, reasons why you can't things you can't dress up to be.
Oh, God.
Fucking Killmonger, fucking anything.
Fuck
like
that.
you just can't be that shit. You
Fuck
know that's
that.
gonna happen.
Yo, listen, I'm making this announcement right now. This is coming from a black man, white people. You could be Black Panther or Killmonger, and you get more points if you could talk like them.
Ooh, exactly,
Ooh.
dude. Exactly, because that's the thing. You're gonna tell me, okay, so Batman's white. I'm supposed to. It doesn't work both ways the same way, but like like it would be the equivalent of saying like black guy you can't be. It's like why you can't be Batman? Like why the fuck not? Who gives a shit?
Right.
Who gives a shit? Like what is the point? Like I understand if you fucking put on like blackface and shit.
Yeah,
go
that's
out.
yeah.
Like that's a
that'd
whole
be
new
fucked
level.
up.
Yeah,
but if
yeah,
you
yeah.
just wear the fucking mask and everything like that, like and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good that's a sign of like we were saying, a sign of appreciation for another superhero of another race. That's awesome. That should bring us together. But they're not those fucking art school people are not gonna let it happen.
And that's good because when like if a black man dresses as Batman or a white man dresses as Black Panther, that proves that person wasn't looking at like he wasn't looking at Black Panther as a black man. He was just looking at Black Panther as a fucking dope ass superhero
Exactly.
Yeah.
who he wants to be like.
Which is
So
where
that
we
shit is
should-
cool.
Which is where we should be heading in society, but it's just not. It's not allowed to happen, dude. I'm telling you, dude. The first Facebook share I see of an article like that, and there will be
You're
one.
gonna fucking tag me.
I'm
in
gonna
it?
fucking Eric Glazer, and I'm gonna tag you every day, every new article. You get like 12 notifications a day
Like,
from
I'm
me.
fucking popping, dude. It's like, why is Jimmy tagging me in all these memes?
But you know what costume? It's funny that you said that. The costumes that I do love, though, I love when people dress as like meme people, like people who, like for instance,
meme people.
yeah, like people who get famous off of the meme, like that guy who they made a meme when he was on the phone. Like people were
Okay,
dressing
yeah.
up as
Okay.
him for Halloween and shit.
I
Like,
like those. I
that
like
shit is
those.
real creative, yo. I like that shit.
I'm gonna be damn Daniel this Halloween, dude. Nobody's gonna pick
just wear white vans.
years.
That's all you gotta do. I
fucking white vans.
don't even know what that kid
regular
looked
clothes,
like, man.
otherwise. That
Yeah,
would
I
be
was
sick.
like, I don't know, dude. They always get fucking bad raps, but me and my buddy used to go to like Otakon downtown, and we
Otakon.
would just get fucking hammered
Uh-huh.
and just walk around looking at people and making fun of them.
What's
But
Otakon?
Otakon, it was like that big like anime comic convention.
Okay.
In the harbor.
People dress up as like different characters. Like
Is it the same?
cosplays
Because I
and shit.
remember they had I think it was PonyCon or something.
No,
like that.
it's not BronyCon.
BronyCon.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not-
That's like it's a level below that, or like
Okay.
BronyCon's a level below like a comic or anime convention.
Those
in
are
my
dudes.
eyes.
Those are
because-
dudes who like My Little Pony, right?
Yeah, it's just like a bunch of weird dudes who never like grew up. It's weird. Like a bunch of like Michael Jacksons, but with no talent.
But that's like, 'cause My Little Pony was made for little girls, right?
yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, I worked
Judging
at
by
a.
the name.
I just at a,
Just assuming.
I worked at a YMCA and I only bought the My Little Ponies for the girls.
Yeah.
Like that. It was the boys. I
And
was
the
like, yo,
bronies.
play with the Lincoln Logs, man.
But,
Don't-
okay.
Be a man, man.
The
Build
cool
something.
thing, the cool thing about Otakon though was like, just like on Halloween, like when you see someone who like put in the effort on their costume and it looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That's fucking really cool to see. That's super cool to
Yeah.
see, and like, and especially if it's funny, like if like I don't know, there'd just always be like a standout costume there. That'd be like, yeah, that was fucking dope.
When you get that
was
like
funny.
low ratio of like really attractive girls that are like into that same shit who like go all out and dress up as like a sexy ass anime character. Those are the standouts.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the
Or even like when
standouts.
they do like gender swap shit. There's this like fucking very attractive girl who was
Very attractive.
dressed as this like big ass fucking like mafia dude, but she was like, you know, slim, slender, had this big ass fur coat on, like this very nice red dress, huge scar across her face, and it looked sick.
Was it like
Yeah.
was it revealing? Like I mean, because
Oh yes.
Okay, cool. That's what I was hoping.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. Dope. See, I don't really go to shit like that because I never like.
No,
I mean,
I still got pictures somewhere.
All right.
I was like, can I take a picture?
I
You
haven't,
and
I haven't
every other
been to that
dude.
stuff either. I went to a free comic book day one day because
Okay.
the improv troupe I was in, they wanted to like go
Bond.
there and interview people and stuff like that. So I went there and that was pretty. They dressed up for that shit too. Just all you get is free comic books, and they was
Yeah,
they
you're
was go-
waiting in line and you're dressing up. It's crazy.
yeah they were. I seen the Stormtrooper. I seen the Joker. I seen a bunch of people. That shit was cool.
I never did anything like that. I don't think I ever even been to a convention. I went to a gun show once. I don't think that counts.
You dressed up as a gun.
Dressed up
You
as a
just
white
went
guy.
in there like a fucking Vietnam vet in a wheelchair, He's fucking rolling around, fucking foot up the whole time.
Fucking
banging into
Lieutenant
shit.
Dan from Forrest Gump. I almost said Donald Trump.
From
Forrest
Donald
Gump.
Trump.
Forrest Gump.
Do they only do? Okay, well, the only conventions I usually hear about is just like Comic-Con, like conventions for cartoons and stuff. Like, do they do any other type of conventions? as
They
Yeah,
got
far
there's
all
as-
like
kinds of
sci-fi shit. There's
Okay.
like, I don't know, but it's like there's always going to be the most popular ones. Like Comic-Con, like I think the San Diego Comic-Con, they have like everything there. Like they'll have like panels for TV shows, they'll have panels for like new movies. They'll have like big, like, you know, the biggest celebrities come through and shit. But then like there's a Comic-Con here in Baltimore, and it's like, I think Stan Lee was here last year, mainly because he was like about to die this year. Like,
Nah, he's still rolling, I think.
I mean, but like the word convention is such like a flexible term, because I feel like the concept of a bunch of people who have the same interests gathering together in one place and like having like a big smorgasbord of all that stuff, like that's a music festival. That's pretty much a convention. Fucking film festival. That's a convention.
Yeah.
Like that's all. But like we only call nerdy shit conventions, which is the problem. If we told the average fucking like I'm gonna say it, Coachella girl that you're just going to a convention, bitch. Like you're just going to a fucking convention. That's all you're doing.
Or why don't you just call them comic festivals now?
That would make you guys get laid more for sure. That might be a good start.
Yeah, I'm going to the anime festival. The fucking
Really? How much are
Doubletree.
tickets? Trying to get mine? I'll go with you.
They need to bring like a video games con over here or something. I don't know if they do it, but they
Well,
may
that's the
probably
thing.
do it.
That was the cool thing about Otakon too. Like we would just end up. They had like an entire, like fucking huge ass room. It was like bigger than, I don't know. It was probably as big as like a basketball court doubled up next to each other. So it's like a big square.
Nice.
And actually probably even bigger than that shit, dude. I don't know. It's huge. But there's like the whole place was filled with like arcade games, consoles, people like playing fighting games and shit. Or like they even had a full basketball court set up in there if you actually wanted to play basketball, but no one was playing that
Perfect
shit.
example. Renfest. Renaissance Festival.
Dude,
Oh,
Renaissance
okay.
convention.
That's
dude.
a convention,
Costumes
dog.
was dope.
Those dudes were trying to get laid.
So they changed their festival, dude.
They were like, nah, man, trust me, we're going to call it a fest, all right? RenCon, not this year, bro. Renfest. And that's how it's done. That's how it's done. By the way, I just want to comment on the fact that it's still fucking, like, it's bright as shit,
light
right?
outside,
Dude, it is
dude.
7:15. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
When do you need to get out of here?
Dude, very soon.
Very soon.
Oh, shit, my bad, dude. My
Probably like
bad.
15 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, we can wrap it up, dude.
We can roll it through.
This shit caught me by surprise, man. I was telling you, I was watching Casino last night.
Pretty good. We're almost at an hour, actually. That's
Yeah.
kind of
word?
crazy.
Oh, yeah, that's
good,
what's up.
Good. All of a sudden, I look at my phone. It was like 5 in the morning. I was like, oh my god. And it
Dude.
still didn't hit me. It still didn't hit me. I was like, man, I really just
I was
fucking
at-
zoned out, I guess.
I was at Zissimo's and we were outside smoking, and like it hit like 1:59, and I was like, oh, okay, it's not that late. And then like a minute later, I checked my phone. I was like, 3:01. What the fuck?
as fuck.
That shit happen all the time. Shit happen all the time, man. Especially like dealing with this comedy shit. Yo,
Yeah.
time flies
But it
at
was
night,
literally-
yo.
It was because of spring forward, though. I
Time
noticed
flies
this.
when it's daylight savings time.
Right. Yeah, that shit is crazy. I didn't even notice because, like I said, I was in like a bar or something. I didn't even know they implemented the daylight save because I was thinking about it like, yo, if they're pushing time an hour, like we don't have as much time as we thought to party here. But
Yeah. Well, I think it switches over at 2 just so that
Oh,
the bars
okay.
can like stay.
Okay,
open.
okay.
But the dope thing is when it's the opposite, when it's daylight savings time, but it's fall back, you get an extra hour out at the bars. That
Right.
shit's dope.
Yeah,
It hits
yeah.
two. It hits
I've
2,
definitely
and you're
been
just
there.
like, it's 2 again, motherfucker. Let's go. That shit's dope. That stuff's good. We can wrap it up, man. I didn't know you had a time constraint, dude.
nah, it's all good.
It's
Yeah.
all good.
Well, you're hosting weekly at the Motor House now,
Yeah,
right? At the
every
showroom?
Wednesday at
Every
showroom
Wednesday.
located inside the Motor House. Beautiful open
That
mic.
shit's fucking popping.
Yeah, it is.
That
It's
shit's like
dope.
popping every week.
In the back or on the little side part next to the bar.
The side part next to the bar.
Cool.
Yep.
That's the best part of it. in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, I like it. I love it. I love it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Shout out to Ivan Martin for helping me put it together.
Shouts
Well,
out.
I helped him because he's the one that started the shit. I just hosted
Yeah.
Dope. That's
Yeah.
every Wednesday, you said?
every Wednesday. Yeah.
What is it? Showcase or open mic type
Open
thing?
mic.
Tight.
Yeah.
And then showcases at the end of the month usually.
Yeah, he does a showcase. I
Fridays,
think the
yeah.
third.
Kind of working our way in the comedy scene to get into like almost every night of the week has at least one solid open mic going in Baltimore.
And I be saying this all the time. Like Baltimore comedy scene is changing before our eyes. Like
Yeah.
It's
people underestimate the fact that they turned the upstairs of Zissimo's into like a comedy club now.
Yo,
So now we have three. Technically, we have four. Well, 3 comedy clubs in the city. 4 if you include Sully's.
Yeah.
In the Baltimore County area. So that shit is dope.
It's hard to tell while you're in it, but if you were looking at the comedy scene from a third-person perspective, which I would consider myself as doing because I don't actually do stand-up, but I'm very involved with it.
Yeah.
And seeing how it's going, it's like it's obvious what's going on right now, and it's fucking dope.
Baltimore,
just leave it
man.
at that.
Baltimore's on the up and up, man. You get the guys that overlook Baltimore, man. You got to stop.
Wake up.
Stop thinking about all the people that got killed. There's a lot more shit going on over here, man. We over here working. God damn it.
Hell yeah, dude.
What do you got? You got anything coming up you want to plug?
Well, I got the Get Silly Sundays thing I do at Zizimo's every 2nd and 4th Sunday night. I'm gonna be at Atomic Books next Saturday for the Centurion show with Ian Sawyers, and Pierre Benou's gonna be on it.
Nice.
Shit, I didn't put it in my schedule. I got to double check with the DJ, but I'm performing at Morgan State on Friday.
Tight.
Yeah, so like he's going on like a college tour and he put me down with it, so that's gonna be dope.
Fuck yeah!
So yeah,
this will be out by Monday. So if you're in the area, check out Garrett at Morgan State. Friday.
Please do. It'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be the first. I went there. That'd be the first time I performed at Morgan. That should be good.
There you go.
And I'm gonna talk shit about all the shit that's wrong with that school.
Fuck yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it got better.
It's safe now. What you got going on, dude?
Oh, well, what's your like Instagram, all that shit?
Oh, my Instagram. You can follow me on IG at I'm G Harvest, not IMGHARVEST, and search Garrett Hardy Harvest on Facebook. And yeah, if you want to find me, search that stuff.
Fuck yeah. I think the only thing I have to plug is March 31st. I'm going to be on the 3 Sheets lecture series at Joe Squared.
Hey.
It's going to be like a live drunk history, I think, or drunk and or high history.
Nice.
Depending on what team I'm on.
That's what's up.
But yeah, check that shit out. I think it's like probably like $5 or some shit. It might even be free. I don't know.
Oh, and
bring $5 just to be safe.
But yeah, March 31st. Check that out. Joe Squared.
And
Cool.
Eric, we still need our rematch.
A rematch?
From the roast battle.
From the roast battle. Yeah,
fucking
dude.
roast battle,
true,
man.
Yeah, we
This
didn't
dude
talk
beat me in a
about
roast
that.
battle, goddammit.
Yeah, I won that whole night.
Damn.
I won $50 that night.
Undefeated,
That was
baby.
Nice.
Oh,
I didn't
shit.
write anything.
Natural. A natural.
Well,
And I
mean,
did, and I couldn't fucking remember what I wrote. So this shit was stupid.
Damn.
That was a fun time. That was
Yo,
a,
speaking
that was
of
cool.
rematches, I fucking I had to skip the wrestling tournament I've been talking about for the past month today. I might try to go back. There's another qualifying one next week.
nice.
But yeah, or next week or the week after that. But I to be fair, I was on weight last night, dude. I was ready to go. But yeah, other shit pops up. But I'm telling you, if you went to River Hill High School today and you wrestled, you got lucky, baby. You got fucking lucky. Plug wise, I'm playing at High Tops on Monday. I'm playing at High Tops today because I'm gonna drop this on Monday. So catch me happy hour 4 to 8. I'll be doing some shit.
Hey.
Yeah, cool. Until next week.
Peace.
We only making the high.